I bet you didn't know the story behind the very first computer virus. This is gonna blow your mind. Hi, welcome back to Tech Niche. Today we're going to dive into the start of viruses and how they evolutionized. In the 1940s, a brilliant mathematician named John von Neumann had a groundbreaking idea. He imagined a program that could create copies of itself. This was a revolutionary concept. It meant that programs could multiply and spread on their own. Von Neumann's idea was purely theoretical at the time. Computers were in their infancy, but his concept of self-replication would later become the foundation for the development of computer viruses. These viruses would evolve from simple, self-copying programs to complex threats to digital security. Von Neumann's work laid the groundwork for the future of computing. It also unintentionally paved the way for a new breed of digital entities, computer viruses. These viruses, like their biological counterparts, would prove capable of spreading rapidly and causing significant harm. The year was 1971. In a world where computers filled entire rooms and the internet was just a distant dream, a quiet revolution was brewing. The hum of machines and the clatter of keyboards echoed through research labs, hinting at the dawn of a new era. The world was on the cusp of the digital age. Scientists and engineers were pushing the boundaries of what was possible, connecting computers in ways never seen before. The ARPANET, a government-funded network, was beginning to link distant machines, laying the groundwork for the internet we know today. Amidst this technological excitement, a program called Creeper emerged from the primordial soup of early computing. It was the brainchild of Bob Thomas, a programmer at BBN Technologies, who wanted to experiment with the idea of a self-moving program. Creeper is widely considered to be the first computer virus. Unlike the malicious viruses of today, Creeper was more of a playful experiment than a threat. It was a simple program that spread between computers on the ARPANET, the precursor to the internet. Creeper would hop from one machine to another, leaving a digital footprint wherever it went. Creeper didn't cause any real damage. It didn't steal data or corrupt files. Instead, it was a harmless curiosity, a proof of concept that showed how software could move independently across a network. It simply displayed a message, "I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can." On the screens it visited, challenging users and programmers alike. However, its creation marked a pivotal moment in computer history. For the first time, people realized that programs could act on their own, spreading without direct human intervention. The concept of self-replicating programs had moved from theory to reality, opening the door to both innovation and new risks in the digital world. In response to Creeper, another program called Reaper was created. Reaper was designed not just to move, but to hunt down and remove Creeper from infected systems. Reaper is considered to be the first antivirus software. It was the digital world's first immune response, a program built to protect and defend. It was designed to find and delete Creeper from infected systems, restoring order to the network and setting a precedent for future cybersecurity efforts. The creation of Reaper marked the beginning of the ongoing battle between viruses and antivirus software, a digital arms race that continues to shape our world today. The 1980s saw the rise of personal computers. With them came a new way for viruses to spread: floppy disks. These portable storage devices became a popular way to share data. However, they also provided a convenient vector for viruses to jump from one computer to another. Viruses spread like wildfire during this period. One of the most common methods of infection was through infected floppy disks. Users would unknowingly share disks containing viruses, leading to widespread outbreaks. The proliferation of viruses during the floppy disk era highlighted the growing need for better cybersecurity measures. As computers became more interconnected, the potential for viruses to cause widespread damage became increasingly apparent. In 1986, two brothers from Pakistan, Basit and Amjad Farooq Alvi, created what would become one of the most famous early viruses, the brain virus. The brothers, who ran a software business, inserted the virus into their floppy disk-based software as a way to deter piracy. The brain virus was relatively benign. It slowed down computers and displayed a message with the brothers' names and contact information. However, it spread rapidly, becoming the first virus to reach pandemic levels. It infected computers worldwide, highlighting the vulnerability of a world increasingly reliant on computers. The brain virus marked a turning point in the history of computer viruses. It demonstrated that even seemingly harmless viruses could have a global impact. it also underscored the ethical and legal complexities of creating and spreading malicious software. So, the 1990s brought the internet into homes and businesses around the world. This interconnectedness, really revolutionized communication and information sharing. However, it also created a new, highly efficient vector for viruses to spread: the internet itself. Viruses could now travel across the globe in seconds, infecting computers at an unprecedented rate. The internet's speed and reach made it the perfect breeding ground for new and more potent viruses. The internet age marked a paradigm shift in the evolution of computer viruses. No longer confined to physical media, viruses were free to spread at the speed of light, reaching every corner of the connected world. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, the internet was rapidly becoming a part of everyday life. People were discovering new ways to connect, and email quickly emerged as the main way people communicated online, both at work and at home. Suddenly, you could send a message to anyone, anywhere in the world, in just seconds. This new channel honestly made it way easier for viruses to spread. Before email, viruses often relied on floppy disks or physical media, but now, a single infected message could reach hundreds or even thousands of people instantly. Email viruses, which were often disguised as harmless attachments or even friendly messages, could move quickly through address books and mailing lists, catching a lot of people off guard. Many users didn't realize the risks, so they opened attachments without a second thought, unknowingly spreading the infection further. One of the most infamous examples was the "I love you" virus, which popped up in 2000. It arrived in inboxes with the subject line "I love you," and the message seemed innocent enough, just a love letter from a secret admirer. But when folks opened the email attachment, it unleashed a digital disaster. The virus infected millions of computers around the world in just a matter of days, overwriting files, stealing passwords, and causing billions of dollars in damage. Businesses, governments, and even hospitals were affected, showing just how vulnerable the world had become to these new threats. Another big threat at the time came from internet worms. These were even more dangerous in some ways because they didn't need anyone to open an email or click a link. Unlike viruses that needed someone to click or open something, worms could basically spread on their own across networks, hopping from one vulnerable computer to the next without any human help. This made them incredibly fast and hard to stop once they got started. The Code Red worm, which showed up in 2001, took advantage of a vulnerability in Microsoft's web server software. It spread rapidly across the internet, defacing thousands of websites with the message "hacked by Chinese," and causing a ton of disruption. The attack was a wake-up call, showing just how quickly a worm could bring parts of the internet to a standstill and highlighting the urgent need for better cybersecurity. As antivirus software got smarter, virus creators stepped up their game, developing new tricks to dodge detection. Polymorphic viruses became a real headache. These viruses could actually change their code every time they infected a new computer, which made it tough for traditional antivirus programs to spot them using their usual signatures. Then, metamorphic viruses took things even further. These could completely rewrite their own code with each infection, so they basically changed both how they looked and how they acted. That made them extremely tough to find and analyze. The rise of polymorphic and metamorphic techniques really marked a big escalation in the ongoing battle between virus makers and security researchers. Because of these advanced evasion tactics, the antivirus industry had to come up with new, more sophisticated ways to detect and prevent attacks. Even though viruses are still a big threat, the world of malicious software has grown a lot. These days, when we talk about malware, we mean a whole bunch of threats, like worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, spyware, and more. Worms, much like viruses, can self-replicate and spread across networks. Trojan horses pretend to be legitimate software to trick people into installing them. Ransomware locks up a user's files and demands money for the decryption key. Spyware secretly keeps tabs on a user's online activity and steals personal information. The lines between these types of malware have really started to blur, honestly. A lot of modern threats are hybrids, combining elements from different malware types, which makes them even trickier to fight. Computer viruses have definitely come a long way since the days of Creeper, the very first computer virus that appeared back in the early 1970s. Back then, viruses were more of a curiosity. Simple programs that spread from one machine to another, often just displaying a message or causing minor mischief. But as technology advanced, so did the threats. Soon after Creeper, the brain virus emerged, marking the beginning of a new era in digital threats. What started as simple, self-replicating programs have turned into complex and sophisticated threats that are capable of stealing sensitive data, encrypting files for ransom, and even disrupting critical infrastructure. Today's malware is often created by organized groups with financial or political motives, making them far more dangerous than their early predecessors. These threats can cause serious damage to individuals, businesses, and even governments all over the world. The internet, while it's a super powerful tool for communication and sharing information, has also opened up new opportunities for viruses and other malware to spread rapidly and silently. As we keep relying more and more on technology for everything from banking to healthcare, the importance of cybersecurity just keeps growing. Staying safe in this connected world really means taking a multi-layered approach. That includes using strong, unique passwords for every account, enabling two-factor authentication whenever possible, keeping your software up to date with the latest security patches, and making sure your operating system and apps are always running the newest versions. Cybercriminals often exploit outdated software to gain access to your devices, so regular updates are a simple but powerful defense. Being careful with suspicious emails and attachments is also crucial. Phishing attacks are one of the most common ways malware spreads, so always double-check the sender and never click on links or download files from unknown sources. And of course, using reputable antivirus software adds another important layer of protection. By staying informed, practicing safe computing habits, and being proactive about security, we can definitely reduce the risks posed by these ever-evolving threats and help keep our digital lives secure.